I want to tell you a story about a very infamous woman. In the 60s, her face made the front page of newspapers. She was hated by the public, accused of killing her 2 young children. But now, half a century later, we can re-examine the case from all sides and see if that public hate was warranted, or if just maybe she was the victim, having lost her children and then been put on trial as part of a witch hunt. This is the story of Alice Crimmins.
That is how you start a story. Welcome back to GMA3, everybody. That was a clip from our November podcast of the month. Crime Junkie is the #1 crime podcast in the world. And actually, it's in the top 5, I believe, of any podcast all over the world.
Yeah, the show has over 1 billion downloads, and the creator and host of the show joins us now. Please, everyone, welcome Ashley Flowers.
Hi.
Thanks for being with us. Woo, yeah.
Thank you.
Round of applause. Do I have this right? 450 episodes?
Yeah.
And counting?
And counting.
Wow. Okay, so unfortunately, there's no shortage of crime stories to choose from, but how do you decide which ones make the cut, which ones you decide to feature?
Well, early on, when I had no following, I picked the cases that stood out to me after 30 years, because I really feel like I understand my audience. I know what they're looking for. I kind of have my pulse on that. And it was resonating with them. And now that we do have a large audience, we have a case suggestion form where we get tens of thousands of people reaching out a month. And we're picking, prioritizing when law enforcement reaches out, when families reach out, and we even have an original reporting team that's out there looking for the cases that aren't getting publicity.
Wow.
Okay, you said, we started out talking about this is the #1 true crime podcast in the world. There's so many podcasts out there.
Yeah.
But you just said, back when I had no audience. How do you go from no audience to sitting here literally as one of the top podcasts in the world? How does that happen?
I think it's all because it's been so genuine. I didn't get into podcasting because it was popular. I loved the medium. And I didn't pick true crime because it's having a moment. Like, I am so invested in this community and these cases, and I think that really comes through. And I think our show was one of the first shows that really gave people a way to give back. It was something that I was looking for. I hear these stories, well, now what? What can I do? And our show, has educational factors. We're helping the communities and the victims that we're talking about. I even went on to start my own nonprofit called Season of Justice that funds testing for cold cases, and we've solved 3 homicides. And so I think that's what people are seeing and responding to.
Right. It's not just storytelling. It's not just fascination with the abomination. It's real advocacy that you're contributing to actually helping families get resolution or answers. And so tell me what you want to do with this, where you want to take this. I mean, is this something that you have future plans to grow even larger?
Yeah, I mean, bigger, better things. I want to keep it at the core. I think what we're doing now and working with victims, working with their families is so important. And again, it's what's gotten us here, and I never want to lose that. But the larger we grow, the wider our audience is, the more people we can reach, the more we can do to help.
Do you hear back? I'm imagining you're working with, but what do you hear back from the families, especially the ones who you help solve?
So Season of Justice, we don't actually cover those cases on Crime Junkie. And so there's a lot of separation between us and the families. I've never heard from a family. We get messages from law enforcement being like, this was our only way, thank you. And I don't need to ever hear from them as long, they got their resolution, they don't owe me anything. But as far as the cases that we cover on the show, we get reached out to by family all the time. And it was actually my very first episode I ever did. Again, when I had no following, the very next day, the victim's daughter reached out to me. Just thanking me for not forgetting about her mom. We did a follow-up interview with her, and it was such a good reminder from day one that these aren't stories, and there are real people who are not only behind the stories, but who are gonna hear every word that we're saying about them. And I think that's so important in the content we're creating.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ashley. Crime Junkie is available everywhere you listen to podcasts. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.